homeschool mom of almost 2 decades, and I get a lot of messages from parents who are dealing with issues with their children, with school, because not only am I a homeschool mom, but I have a background in education. I sit on the local homeschool board, and I do several leadership roles in our homeschool community. Now, I want to make sure that you hit subscribe and you click the link below to get my book of 7 Habits of Successful Students, because I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get that information to help your child. I hate when I get messages that say, why does my child hate school so much? They're so miserable. They come home crying. The children say to them, why do I hate school so much, Mom? Why do I hate school so much, Dad? They're saying things to them like, I hate school so much that I cry. And when your child is saying to you, I hate school so much that I cry, that breaks your heart. But let's explore maybe why the child is feeling that way. They may be feeling that way because they don't feel safe. There's been a lot of bad things happen in schools. There's been a lot of instances of kids getting bullied, both by teachers, other adults, and other students. There's been instances where they don't feel safe because of really scary incidences. And now that they have to have drills in their schools for what could happen if someone enters the building with really evil plans, that's really scary to a child. Leaving your parents for 8 hours a day doesn't feel good to some children. Also, we have to remember that only 30% of students actually thrive in the kind of learning environment that school provides. Textbooks, lectures, tests, sitting in a desk. That means 70% of students who are in government and private schools today are really underserved because they're not getting to learn with their own learning style. So when my child says, or your child says, why do I hate school so much? Really listen to them and hear their heart. It's not that they're lazy. It's not that they don't want to go to school or do their homework. It's not that, they're just making that up. There's really science behind it that only 30% of children actually thrive in that environment. There's a lot of children that need hours of exercise before they sit down to learn because they need to get that energy out and those jitters out. I have 4 kids and I've been homeschooling for a long time, and I know when my boys were little, we would take nature walks, we would take bike rides, we would go jump on the trampoline before we'd even sit down to do any book work, because if not, they're not going to pay attention. They're not going to retain that knowledge if they have so much nervous energy because they're little boys, and little boys need to move. Another thing is the food they eat. There's a lot of kids who are eating a Pop-Tart or a sugary granola bar or a sugary bowl of cereal or toast, no protein, no vegetables, nothing, and being put on a bus, and they're not getting any real nutrition. So their brains aren't even able to function. And so if your child says, I hate school so much that I cry, I want you to ask, do they feel safe? Are their learning style and those needs being met? Are they getting a diet that's full of good protein and brain food? There are children who really need to be hands-on. There's children who really need to learn by touching and doing. Some children need to learn by auditory. I have an auditory learner, and so we get a lot of books on audio. And if I would say, hey, read this book, yeah, he could read it and he'd be fine. But if I say, let's listen to this book on audiobook, because he's an auditory learner, he's going to retain a massive amount of knowledge when just by reading it, he would only contain a little bit. And so when you are wondering, why does my child hate school? There's probably some really valid reasons for that. Now, I want to make sure that you hit subscribe and you click the link below to get my book of 7 Habits of Successful Students, because I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get that information to help your child. But I would really encourage you, number one, get that ebook and follow the instructions. There are some focus and brain essential oils that you can use on your child to really help them focus. That's going to be a good one, and I do talk about those. Maybe consider homeschooling. I know that has helped so many families. There's over 6 million children homeschooling in the United States right now, and that number is growing every year, because honestly, when you go to other countries, you are seeing children do things that the United States hasn't even considered yet. So our education system, not only does it not meet the needs of over half of the students, but there's a teacher shortage, there's dietary issues, but the methods are honestly outdated compared to the rest of the world. United States is a wonderful country, but our education system is very, very outdated. So if you're asking yourself questions like, why does my child hate school? Or your children are telling you, I hate school so much I cry, or why do I hate school so much? I just really want to encourage you, listen to your child. Hear what they're saying. They are talking to you because they love you and they trust you, and they're not making that up. Their feelings are very real and very valid, and the reasons I gave you are also very real and very valid. So please pay attention to them. Also, get this ebook that I'm offering below, 7 Habits of Successful Students, and hopefully that will help you some too. But comment below if there's anything that I can help you with, any advice that I can give you. I've been through this a lot as an educator, as a homeschool mom, as somebody who's worked with homeschool families for almost 2 decades. I've seen a lot of scenarios, and we've come up with a lot of good solutions for a lot of families, and we want to help you too. We don't want you to feel stuck. Okay, we don't want you to feel like you don't know what to do, because truly there are solutions for your children, and we can give them a successful education when we just put our heads together. So you guys have a great day.